matters not to you how people suffer.
Mr. Gorbachev.
And should they, you consider that a game.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
That's part of your communistic game. I detect a
We
little
interrupt this program
communism.
for a special news bulletin.
I can see it in the things you do. Communism, socialism, call it what you like. There's very little difference in the two. Now ain't I right?
Hello, everybody. This is your host, the Commie Killer. Welcome back to the Commie Killer Podcast, Episode 2. I am here with my two, I don't want to say co-hosts, I'll say guests, the Sullyhogs and the VenomJoowbear. Say hi, you two.
Hello.
Hi there.
All right. So, I think this episode we're going to, because we've been talking about this for the last probably hour and a half, we're going to focus on video games, specifically Bethesda video games, or any video games in general, because we've been talking about a lot about Bethesda games. So, let's get into it. So, where do we leave off before we decided, hey, let's record a podcast episode?
I don't remember.
It was
But
on-
I have a topic.
Lay it
So,
on me.
something that has been really interesting news recently. If anyone's paid attention, the Forgotten City. It's an indie game. But what's interesting about it is it began as a Skyrim mod.
Oh,
No way.
I've never heard about this.
Yeah, it was a huge, really huge mod. It got a lot of mod awards, whatever that means.
Mhm.
But it was huge. And so the person who made it was like, hey, you know what? Let's just make this into a game.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, it's great to see mods launch people's careers. I love that.
Yeah, exactly like what we were talking about earlier about like Oblivion and Skyrim. It's like those people are going to have probably a pretty fantastic career in the future.
For sure.
And, you know, a lot of those companies, specifically Bethesda and Obsidian, have acknowledged the fact that those mods exist, and they know about the talent that the people behind them, you know, possess. Yeah, those people are going to have a lot of fucking experience, and that's one hell of a thing to, like, especially for Oblivion, like, putting that on a resume, it's like, that's one fucking hell of a thing to say, oh, I remade an entire game. Or I made my own game or something. Like, that's one hell of a thing to put on your resume for, you know, incoming game developer and such.
Oh,
I didn't even know that Bethesda even recognized them. Holy crap!
Yeah, because they had to do it for because they were curious, because, you know, nothing like that had been done before, so they had to do it for like licensing issues. It's like to make sure, like, hey, are you cool with the fact we're remaking your fucking game, like, type thing? And they're like, yeah, as long as you just don't use our voice assets and our audio. Like, so that's why they have to get new voice actors and like sound designers to make like the music and shit. So they have to recreate those things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see how they redo those voices for Oblivion, especially the guard voices.
Oh, I believe there's a clip for the voice actor who's playing Uriel. Is it Uriel Septum in that? Right?
Yeah, it's Uriel.
Yeah, they released, I think, a clip for Uriel Septum, a guy who's like recreating the voice of Patrick Stewart, who played Uriel Septum in the original game, and it's pretty fucking incredible. Like,
Heck yeah,
top notch work for that guy. Like, it's incredible.
I'm just so excited for both of those, the Morrowind and the Oblivion one.
I don't know if I think I'm more excited for Oblivion just because that was my childhood. I think that's why I'm the most excited for that one in particular. But definitely Skywind is pretty up on my list for something that I'm excited about, especially because who doesn't like Morrowind? It's fucking great.
yeah.
And
The
people
thing
who
about-
haven't played it and who have refused to play it because of difficulty will now have a reason to play it because it will be modernized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll tell you this, I am one of those players. I enjoyed Morrowind when I played it. I didn't play through all of it. I didn't even get through a fourth of it. But I found it to be very slow, very some of the combat was dated, especially the dice rolling type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I enjoy the aesthetic. I always love me some I always love me some Elder Scrolls lore. So I think that I can definitely respect the game. It's got a lot of great stuff to it. I'm just excited for an update because I personally am not a fan of this style of Morrowind. But when Skywind does come out, I'm definitely going to pick that up because it looks awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, for me, I have a deep love for Morrowind. It's got a lot of quirks and it's kind of broken in a lot of ways, but what Bethesda game isn't?
Yeah, that's true.
Very much,
that's very true.
Very true. Yeah.
And it certainly wasn't empty. It wasn't empty. It clearly had a full world. It had a full environment to it. I never felt bored playing it. Let's just say that.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think Morrowind, out of all of the Elder Scrolls games, and everyone I've played, I've loved, but I think out of all of them, Morrowind has the best environment. The giant fungus, the big plants, the ash mountains, and the ash spawn and shit is incredible. And it's like when they not remaster. Technically, it's a kind of remaster, but a remake of Solstheim in Skyrim from the Blood Moon DLC. I honestly, playing that was incredible for me because it was like seeing Morrowind in this remastered realm with all these high-res textures of what it used to be. It just made me want a remaster of that game even more because it's like, man, this is so fucking gorgeous. Like, Solstheim has one of my favorite looks out of any location in Skyrim. It's just great with the bleak
Solstheim
weather
is awesome.
and the ash, the ash ground and the ash spawn, and then
and the
volcano with the silt striders, and it's such a great environment. And I really can't wait for Skywind to really fully visualize that whole environment of the mainland. It's really going to be incredible.
Also, it's giving Morrowind full voice acting, which is...
very much, yeah. You don't have to read everything.
Yeah.
A cool fact I just learned because of you is Okay, so the Solstheim comes back in the Dragonborn DLC for Skyrim, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And... Yeah. I did not know that there were silt striders in that. That's great. That's a nice touch.
Yep, there's one silt strider, and from what I believe in the lore, that's like one of the last, if not the last, silt strider. But I might be wrong about that.
Cool.
Depressing.
I don't think you can use it as a motive of travel, but I think that there was a mod that allowed you to, and it's really fucking cool. Really cool.
No, in Skyrim there probably was.
I can't remember if it was main game or if it was a mod, because I know for a fact that last time I played, not long ago, I used the Silt Strider to travel, but I don't remember if that was vanilla or a mod. It might have been a mod, but yeah, there's one Silt Strider. It's near the guy, the wizard, and I believe he was in the giant mushroom in Solstheim in the Dragonborn DLC. That's where the Silt Strider's near there.
Yeah, I need to play that. I want to go through Skyrim again, but the thing is I have played that game so much, the vanilla game, to death. I've done the achievements, I've done all the shit, and it's just like, when I get back to it, I'm like, what can I do that I haven't done already?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy. It's like, even though we talked about it earlier, but how we said that I personally I feel like Skyrim dumbed down a lot of the things from the other games, and I know a lot of people say that some Skyrim contrarians, I guess, who say that Skyrim doesn't have as much to the game as it did in the previous Elder Scrolls. I would disagree with that, because honestly, every time I go on YouTube, I learn something new about Skyrim that I didn't know, and I've played through that game countless times, whether it's a new quest or a new weapon you can earn or a new dungeon I never experienced or something. There's just so much shit that even with the thousands of hours I put in that game, I still did not know about. So if you're ever feeling like there's not something new in that game, there definitely is. You just have to search for it. Go off the beaten path. Don't worry about the main quests or the basic sides quests like the Dark Brotherhood and the Thieves Guild. Just walk around the world and you'll find so much shit that you never experienced before. It's really incredible. And that's what I was doing with Fallout 4 and New Vegas. Like, I found so much new shit in those games that I didn't even know about the first couple times I played through them. You always find new stuff in those games, I swear.
I remember I was playing Skyrim. It was a few years ago, like in, I would say 2014, 2015. I was doing a playthrough, and I started hunting for, like, strong, rare, powerful weapons. And I found 2 swords specifically that are kind of like you kind of come across the quest lines to get them in the main story, but it's more like you don't always, like, kind of takes a little bit to get them. One is a sword called Dawnbreaker that you get from Merida's Beacon, and the other is probably the best weapon in the game. It's called, I think it's called Chillrend, and it's a sword that you get during the
Chillrend. Yeah, that sword is in Oblivion and Morrowind, I believe. Chillrend. Yeah, you can get that in those games. Yeah, you get that in what's his face's house, Mercer's house. Yeah, it's in a lockpick case. Yeah.
In Skyrim, yeah.
Yeah, Chillrend is one of those legendaries that is a recurring legendary. That's also in Oblivion and I believe Morrowind. I know in Oblivion for a fact. Yeah.
I love recurring legendaries.
Oh,
there's a lot of them in Morrowind, and there's that in the DLC, the Tribunal DLC, you can go to the museum and donate them, and they can be on display.
That's great. Yeah. I wish they would do that with, I think it was in Morrowind, and I know it was in Oblivion. The legendary sword called Umbra, if you've ever heard of it. It's like the black, like obsidian-looking sword. Oh my gosh, I wish that would have been in Skyrim. I love that weapon. And there was another one I think that looked similar to it, but like it's this cool blade. It's all black, and I don't remember the legendary effects exactly, but it just aesthetically was a fucking beautiful weapon.
Yeah.
Same thing with another one in Oblivion called Goldbrand. That's another one.
Goldbrand. If I remember correctly, is that the one that takes the souls, or is that the another one I'm thinking of?
Umbra?
Yeah.
I might. No, you're thinking of Shadowrend, I think.
You're thinking of Katana from Suicide Squad 2016.
I think it's Shadowrend.
It's something, because I remember there's some people that get the sword, one of the Daedric swords, and it basically consumes them, and they become just a total barbaric asshole.
Let me look it up. Shadowrend.
That's a cool name. I love Shadowrend.
I believe it's Shadowrend, because I think this one was in Shivering Isles. I gotta read up on it. Yeah, it's one of the most powerful weapons in the game. It can either be a claymore or a battle axe. If you're blah 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 blah. The damage health effect is wait. Okay, what does this say? Level enchantment that casts weak to magic and damage health on strike. So I don't think it's that one. Let me look up Umbra then. Umbra. I can't remember. I know what sword you're talking about or what weapon, but I can't remember which one it is.
Is it the Ebony Blade?
Oh, it might be the Ebony Blade.
Yeah, because that's also in Skyrim, if I remember correctly. When you do the quest with the kids, that's in the Whiterun castle that's quote-quote sick.
Let's see.
I think that's Boethia. Or Malthea, one of those Daedric princes that did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh wait, okay, Umbra, sword enchanted by the ancient, and its sole purpose was the entrapment of souls. Used in conjunction with a soul gem, the sword allows the wielder the opportunity to imprison an enemy's soul in the gem. So it is Umbra.
Okay.
But the Ebony Blade, I think just does health steal. I think that just steals life.
Oh,
You get that from the Ebony Man when you get to like level 80.
No. You get that one in Skyrim from. There's the one kid who it's the Jarl's son, and he starts acting up. He starts acting a fool, and there's the door in the basement, and it's Boethia, I believe, right? Boethia?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Behind the door, yeah, and you get the Ebony Blade from that.
Yeah, I actually mentioned that like a second ago.
Yeah, he fucking that sword is great. That sword, like even like it's like the Daedric artifacts usually lose their value once you get to higher levels. That fucking sword is like good throughout the whole game, in my opinion, because there's lifesteal, or I can't remember if it's lifesteal or what it is, but it's fucking great.
I remember in Oblivion with Umbra. Umbra is also the name of the wielder. Whoever wields it gets like consumed by the sword, basically.
Yeah. Ebony Blade was enchanted to cut through any object to prevent the death of its wielder and deflect magic, but it also carried a curse that slowly corrupted any user and caused a lust for violence, bloodshed, and death.
Okay, shit. I'm so mumbled with my Elder Scrolls lore. I'm right and I'm wrong. Yeah.
Honestly, same. Like, I remember some things, and then, like, I'll be like, oh, this is the Daedric god of fucking eating your ass or something. And it's like, no, that's the other Daedric god.
Look, there hasn't been an Elder Scrolls game that's come out in 10 years. We're all a little bit, we've been playing the same games over and over
and
again.
It's just a lot of lore.
Yeah, there is a lot. Same with Fallout.
Oh, yeah. Fallout has a lot of it, but I feel like it's more linear because it's a smaller time frame. Because the games only focus on from like in the early games, I know they talk about events from like the 1990s and stuff in their world, because then everything after I believe 1950 is different. But a lot of the events are all, because we know a lot of it because it's all laid out on a timeline that's like only spans like 100 200 so years. But in like Skyrim, you're talking about thousands of years worth of fucking shit with like divine influence and shit. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And they both, it fits each universe perfectly. Like for fantasy, you want a more like out there and like a world that kind of is influenced by like different sorts of like historical religions. Like with the Nords, they're based on like the Vikings and the Nordic people and shit like that, and all these folk tales and legends and shit like that. But with Fallout, you're just going for like literally what originally was called a post-nuclear role-playing game. Like this is just the apocalypse and what led up to the apocalypse. Which it's cool. They both have their own good stories. No problem with being a little bit more linear.
I've always been conflicted whether or not I like the Elder Scrolls lore or the Fallout lore better. Fallout is...
It's almost like apples and oranges.
It's hard.
Like Commie was saying is you have the Elder Scrolls, which is high fantasy, like straight up the ass, magic everywhere, everyone's got something going on. And then you have Fallout, where it's this like desolate wasteland, where it's just you have all these factions that keep repeating the same cycle of war over and over, and they have like different themes and different things. It's hard to compare them.
Yeah, Fallout, I will say, from any other game franchise out there, it's incredibly unique. Like you don't see retro future a lot, and I love how they use that in tandem with the post-apocalypse world. That always attracted me. I always felt Fallout was really fun.
Yeah.
It's really hard for me because like I love Fallout. Like I was not the person who was introduced to Fallout on a grand scale really early. Like Oblivion was always around for me because my dad played it when it came out in the early 2000s when I was growing up. And plus when it came out to the consoles for PS3 when they remastered it for consoles, I I played a fuck ton of that, and I was still young when that happened. So I grew up with a lot of that game, and that was mainly the only game I had played at the time. I mean, I had played some games prior, but Oblivion had really stuck with me, and I didn't even know it was a series until Skyrim came out, and a buddy of mine was playing it when I went over to his house, and I said, hey, this is like Oblivion. He's like, well, that's because it's the next one. I was like, what? I was like, I didn't even know this was a series. So then I played Skyrim. I got it, and my dad played it and everything, and it was just fucking incredible. And not Oblivion, Fallout, I didn't get into that until actually Fallout 4. I had played a little bit of 3 in New Vegas growing up from friends, but I never got super into it. And then when Fallout 4 came out, I was like, my friend's like, you gotta try these games. It's like, it's Skyrim with guns, which is like, you know, what they used to say for Fallout 3. It's just Oblivion with guns. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. And I fucking fell in love with Fallout 4. And then it made me go back, and I played every game since that. I've played 1, 2, a little bit of Tactics. I haven't finished Tactics. Unfortunately, I have played Brotherhood of Steel, and I've played 3 in New Vegas as well as 76. So I really went back after that, and I love Fallout, but I would say probably if I had to pick or choose, I'd probably say the Elder Scrolls, just because of how much it's been around for me as a franchise, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Like for me, I was introduced to Elder Scrolls through Skyrim, but I did hear about Oblivion and even played it once. But Elder Scroll, like I was really introduced to that with Skyrim, and then people told me, "Hey, there's this other game from the same company. It's Skyrim with guns," and I was like, that blew my mind. I always wanted to play a Skyrim with guns, and they said it was called Fallout, and so they said, "Hey, get Fallout 3," and I said, "Why 3?" And they said, "Well, it's the one that they made," and I said, "Okay," and I played 3, and I loved it. I thought it was great. And then they said there's another one. I was like, there's another one? And you know, I played New Vegas, and I thought that was even better. Mm-hmm. And then I played Oblivion after that, and then Fallout 4 came out. You know, that obviously excited me so much. And, you know, I've been a Bethesda fan ever since.
For me, I kind of got into them simultaneously. My mom used to play Oblivion, and so did my older brother. And so I got into that, the Elder Scrolls world, kind of fast. And then with Fallout 3 was when I was introduced. And what blew my mind was how much of an evil jackass you could be, blowing up megatons. Like, learning that knowledge that you could do that in that game made me want to play it. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll never forget on my first fucking playthrough of Fallout 3, I fucking annihilated Megaton. And that was the first time I ever played it. And, which is weird because I know that most people, when they play through the game, they don't do that. I don't know what compelled me to commit nuclear holocaust on Megaton, but I fucking annihilated them.
For me, I had a fucked up story where it was before I blew up the nuke. I went to the mayor's house while he was eating breakfast with his son. I cut his head off and put his head on the bowl his son was eating on.
Oh my god.
And then I blew up the place. I shouldn't be laughing. That's terrible.
I love all the fucked up shit you can do in those games. Honestly, that game. What's funny about those games is you can do so much fucked up shit, right? But statistically, a lot of people never go that route the first time they play through. It's usually the second or the third or the fourth playthrough they decide, hey, I'm going to be a bad guy this time. Everyone usually goes either the morally in between or the morally good route. Like, statistically, that's been proven. And like and not just those games but other games, and like I've heard some developers kind of get like a little bit upset because like they create all these like super fucked up, you know, side stories and like routes you can go, and no one ever takes them, and it's just like, I don't know, what's kind of the fun of being psychopathic lunatic once in a while. Like if you're not gonna do it.
Yeah. The one thing I will say about Fallout in comparison to the Elder Scrolls, it has a much more focused eye on morality and choice.
Yes,
Well-
I would say very much so. Yes. Well, choice,
Yeah,
I
to a
don't know. Choice, I don't know. I mean, yes, in a way with the way you go. In like New Vegas, yes, I would say there's more choice. But
yeah,
like
and New Vegas specifically.
morally, I would say yes, Fallout has the more different routes. But like, yeah, Skyrim and like Oblivion and everything, you can do some fucked shit in those, but like mostly the main story always ends out the same, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. You're a prisoner from somewhere, and then you're set free, and then you fulfill a prophecy. But the thing is like, also, there's just a charm to it, where it's just like, no matter what, it's just this storybook. Oh, this guy comes out of here, then this guy does this. The end. Here's a bunch of other fucked up cool shit you can do.
Yeah.
yeah, it really is like that linear, like knight in shining armor type thing. But like you can add on to that by like, oh, but the hero was also a thief, and the hero was also an assassin, or they were a mage, or they were a fighter, or things like
Or
that.
they were a giant cat.
Or like a cultist, where like you do the Daedric princes.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
and you get their artifacts, and you play.
You become their
like,
champions.
Yeah, stealing souls left and right, playing evil. Playing evil is fun. It's good. It's
It is.
You know,
you get to push the limit.
yeah, you really do. I really wish that they would make an Elder Scrolls game where like I have no problem with the way that the stories go. They usually go pretty linear with the way that the outcome is. I mean, sure, you can pick and choose, like, you know, Stormcloaks or Imperials or things like that, or what house prevails in Morrowind and shit. But I wish they would do a style where it's almost similar to New Vegas, where you have all of these friends that you've bestowed upon you, or like rallied around you, to come and help fight you alongside this grand battle. Like with Hoover Dam, like you can get the remnants, you can get, you know, the boomers and shit like that to come help you with whoever you side with or whatever. I wish you could do that in the Elder Scrolls, where you could have this grand battle for like the ages, but you bring along all your different groups, like the Thieves Guild, the Dark Brotherhood, you know, the Mage Guild, the Fighters Guild, whoever, and just have this grand battle for like war and peace type shit. That would be awesome.
Imagine like at the end of Skyrim when you're fighting Alduin, you call on your friends and the companions come and they all turn into werewolves and start fighting the dragon. Like that would be so cool, wouldn't it?
You just come in like an endgame just through portals, and there's a fucking, oh, here's the Fighters Guild, here's the Mages Guild, here's the companions. Oh wait, there's no Fighters or Mages Guild in Skyrim. That's another thing.
Companions are Fighters Guild for the most part.
Yeah, okay, I love Skyrim, but fucking hell, man. I really... Okay, as much as I like the College of Winterhold and the companions, I wish they would have also had, like, a legitimate, like, Fighters and Mages Guild on the side as well. It would have just made it so much better.
Magic kind of took a little bit of a sideline for Skyrim. I'm not saying, like, totally, because there's still some cool shit you can do.
It was a massive downgrade from Oblivion.
I have made this clear in the past that sorry, you can go.
Shit, what was it? Oh, I forgot what I was saying.
It's alright. I was just gonna say I made this clear in the past that my theory is that magic is gonna be a huge part of Elder Scrolls 6 because it takes place in High Rock. Well, most likely it does. Anyways, that's where I think it's going to take place.
Yeah, I think
and
that's generally accepted.
Yeah, and High Rock is where the Britons are from, and they are incredibly they're a magical race. You know.
Mm-hmm. There's one thing that we mentioned earlier that I just remembered is about Skyrim. Skyrim is a great game, and what I'm about to say isn't like shitting on it. But we can agree that it was, with the classes and the magic and some things, it has been dumbed down. It's not a terrible game. It's got a lot of variety, lots of hours.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that happened with Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. It's exactly that. And for better or for worse, because like Fallout 3, Fallout 4, and Skyrim appealed to a much broader audience and brought in a lot of fans. Like Skyrim is one of the greatest, like the highest selling games of all time. It's like fucking hell. It's on every damn platform to ever exist in the modern day, right? You know, special edition 2 Electric Boogaloo, you know, but
by Skyrim guys.
For better or for worse, I feel like that's contributed to them dumbing down a lot of the mechanics. With the exception of Fallout, I would argue that Fallout has honestly, it's broadened its reach to fans, but it's also lost out on a lot of people because they like, except for New Vegas, like fans of 1 and 2 usually love New Vegas but don't like 3 and 4 as much. But then fans of like 3 and 4 like New Vegas but will never touch 1, 2 or Tactics or whatever. But with Elder Scrolls it's a little different. Like even the fans of like Oblivion and Morrowind played Skyrim and like Skyrim but have, you know, their gripes or anything. And then the people who played Skyrim will go back and play Oblivion and Morrowind. So it's like, I don't know what's the line of what's too dumbed down and what's not dumbed down enough, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a weird, it's a gray area, I guess, because like with both franchises, I guess they're both a little bit different, but they kind of have the same fan bases in a lot of ways. Yeah. I don't know. I would definitely agree though that Skyrim was extremely dumbed down from the other games. And again, it doesn't detract me from loving it. I think the universe is just so iconic and I love everything that I can forgive it for that. But it still, as much as I love Skyrim, I don't think it beats Oblivion for me. I still think Oblivion is my favorite Elder Scrolls, just for how it's not as expansive as Morrowind, but it still has a lot of those class elements that I really enjoy, I guess.
Yeah. For me, I think Oblivion and Skyrim are kind of neck and neck for me. I love both of them. They both have their quirks. I think Skyrim is a little bit more unique in terms of its environment, and Oblivion is more just, you know, generic Tolkien stuff.
Okay, yeah, I would agree with that. I think the environment of Oblivion is boring out of the 3.
Yeah. I'm not saying generic is bad.
Yeah, it's not like Tolkien, it's not horrible. Like it's not like, oh, this is so fucking horrible. It's just it's not as, what is it, environmentally different as the other games. Like Morrowind is really diverse with the biomes, the mushrooms, the ashlands and stuff like that. And Skyrim has, you know, you have the snowy mountains, you have the normal mountains are like Markarth's, and then you have like not the Golden Forest, that's from fucking Oblivion. The Rift with all the autumnish trees and the bees and the things like that. Yeah, it's a more diverse environment, and Oblivion has locations like that, but it's not as much as the other games. So yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah,
I definitely enjoy the alpine nature of Skyrim. You know, everything's high up in the mountains. Everything is cold. Everything is, you know, everybody's freezing their nuts off and stuff. You know. Yeah.
No, it is definitely a different environment from all the other games, yeah. Except for, I think Daggerfall has a lot of snow in it, but I might be wrong about that. Anyways, what are you saying?
For me, I would definitely say that... Yeah, what was I gonna say? Fuck. We're talking about the favorite one. For me, it's a really hard split between Oblivion and Morrowind, because Morrowind has one of the best Elder Scrolls stories and has a really great environment.
Yes.
But Oblivion has a great voice acting cast. Has like it's an upscale.
with all 3 voice actors.
Well, Patrick Stewart, Sean Bean.
I'm sorry. I make fun of it too much. I'm sorry. But yeah, I agree.
Trying to make jokes.
I was born 87 years ago. Sorry.
They upped the ante with Oblivion, and I would say that gameplay-wise, Oblivion is superior, but story-wise, Morrowind takes the cake.
I would agree with that. I think Oblivion is a great game, but I think the main story it's good, but it could be better. I don't know. It's just like a lot of it. It's I don't know what it is. It's a good, compelling story, but the ending I think is what loses me. I like the ending is awesome. Like Martin turning into the dragon and fucking just kicking the shit out of Mehrunes Dagon is awesome. But I just don't think it's as like rewarding or like grandiose as like Morrowind's ending is. I love Morrowind's ending to the story, and Skyrim 2 is pretty good.
Skyrim's cool.
You know what? Okay, you know what would be an interesting thing about those games? Imagine the ending, but it has like the old Fallout, like New Vegas, and like 3 like end credit slides.
Oh shit! Like New Vegas and 3.
Yeah, like where all of your actions kind of come to a close, and it's like, oh, you know, the Great Khans left in Mojave and went to Idaho or whatever, you know, like something like that type thing.
Yeah,
That would have been really cool.
That would be kind of cool. I'd like to see that. Or like some just cutscene type thing where it's not like, oh, you defeated Mehrunes Dagon, here is some special armor, like type thing.
You guys are making me want to rethink my hypothesis on Morrowind. I think I want to try that game out again.
okay. Honestly, it is a little bit of a chore to get back and like be able to hit things and do things, but once you get a balance, it's really good. It's a good adventure. The music, it's like the same 3 soundtrack bits over and over again, but you never get sick of them.
Just don't try and brute force it. I'll say that much. It's not like Skyrim or Oblivion where you can just push your way through the story. If you're gonna play it, you have to take time off because it's so different from the other games, and it's so, you know, it's old enough. I know for a lot of people it's hard to get into old games. If you take time off in between, not like a super long time, I'm not saying like play it once and then like 2 years later say, oh, I'm gonna finish Morrowind now, like, you know, play it once, take like a day or 2 break, and then come back, play it again for a little bit. Just don't force yourself to play it. Play it when you feel like it, because if you force yourself to play it, you're not going to enjoy it, because it is very different from the other games. Very different.
That's what I've been doing with Fallout 1. I've been, play it for a little bit, then come back to it after a while.
Yeah.
After all, that's kind of what you're supposed to do with video games.
Yeah, except now in the modern day, we don't know how to put them down, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Like how I was out of power for fucking 4 days now, and I was goddamn craving to play a video game. Like, yeah, we're addicted to them.
Yeah, we are, but we're okay with it.
Oh, I mean,
yeah, we're okay.
Yeah, I mean, how my dad went. Like, I say this joke a lot, but like, not seriously, but like, my father would neglect me to play Oblivion. Like when I was growing up, my dad would play Oblivion on our PC downstairs, and usually when he would play, it was usually just him home. Like my mom was away, and my sister was either sleeping or doing something or whatever, or she was awake. And what he would do is, he'd say, "Oh, you guys have to come downstairs so I can watch you." And like we had toys and shit down there, but like after you're down there for like 4 hours of him playing Oblivion, like you get fucking bored as shit. Like, can I have something to eat? No, wait, just like a couple more minutes, like. Shit like that. And like I remember he was talking about it like not long ago. He's like, yeah, I would stay up till like 4 a.m. play Oblivion, sleep for 2 hours, and then go to work and like work all day. And I'm like, how the fuck did you do that? And I'm like, oh, I do that now. It's like it's possible.
That's one thing you have to give Bethesda, is they know how to make a game that kills your entire day, your entire schedule.
For sure.
Oh, 100%. I can't tell you how many times, like, I'll come home from work, and I'll sit down and be like, I'm gonna play some Fallout New Vegas or something. And then my girlfriend will text me, hey, you want to go out to dinner? I'm like, fuck, I'm in the middle of this game. Can it wait, like, a couple hours? Like...
Yeah.
It's like, I love you to death, but like I'm fighting a Scorched Beast Queen right now. Like, can it wait 30 minutes?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's Scorched Beast Queen.
Oh. We should. Oh, actually, before we, because I kind of want to talk about Fallout 76, but before we get to that, I want to ask you all a question. So regardless of like, I mean, you can incorporate this into your answer, but like, if you had to pick one Daedric god that is your favorite, or like you would, as a character, you would follow if you were in the actual Elder Scrolls universe? What Daedric god would you get behind? Doesn't have to be doesn't have to be a benevolent or malevolent. It doesn't matter. Any god.
Easy. Hermaeus Mora. I love Hermaeus Mora.
That's a good choice.
I
like
love his
Hermaeus
voice.
Mora.
I love
Hermaeus
Mora. Like, I love the slimy voice and everything. He's so cool.
Yeah. For me, I'm stuck between Kiragorath, Maroon's Dagon, and probably Malakath.
Those are all good ones.
All great choices.
Malakath is the one who gives you the hammer, right, in Skyrim, right? The big... Yeah, because that's hammer... Yeah, that's the hammer that for where Hammerfell came from. The hammer that was thrown. Yeah, okay, yeah.
What is the one in Skyrim that starts off as a dog and you follow him?
Clavicus Vile. That's not him as a dog. That's his servant.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Clavicus Vile. That's the god of what? Trickery, right?
Clavicus Vile's cool.
It's like bartering and trickery, something like that. Like he's like the barter god. He's like the god of making deals. He's also in Oblivion. Yes, he's also in Oblivion. Yes, you can get his
as the goblin dude or whatever he looks like.
I'm gonna be a little bit different from this, and I'm gonna pick a god that's really out there that a lot of people don't talk about anymore, but he's still out there now after Oblivion. I'm gonna say Jiggalag, the Daedric god of order. I really like the concept of Jiggalag. Yeah, because Jiggalag is the one that we've seen the least from. Because after the events of Oblivion, the Shivering Isles, because technically after you end the Grey March, you know, the destruction of Sheogorath's realm and the cycle that continues, where Jiggalag is imprisoned as Sheogorath because he's so powerful that the other Daedric gods damned him to be the opposite of what he is, become the god of madness. I love the concept of Jiggalag, this Daedric god that was so powerful that he fucking scared the other gods that they had to make him a crazy loon who loves cheese. Like, he's like the Daedric god of order. And I really hope in the next game that he actually plays a role and that they're actually talking about him, because like in Skyrim he's just not present, even though technically he's out there, he's just not there. But besides him, I'd probably say, because I mean he's kind of a bizarre choice, that's not really, there's not much for him. I would say probably either Clavicus Vile or Hermaeus Mora. I like Clavicus Vile's. I love his Daedric artifact, the helmet of Clavicus Vile. I love that look in Skyrim. It's really cool. And then Hermaeus Mora is just fucking cool as shit because he's the Daedric god of knowledge. He's got Apocrypha. Yeah, I think he's probably the Daedric god we've seen the most from in content-wise. Like, sure, you have Mehrunes. Probably, yeah. Yeah, like, in Mehrunes Dagon's in every game with the, you know, Mehrunes Razor, and he's in Oblivion. But, I think Hermaeus Mora is the one that we've seen the most of, and it's interesting, like, especially with, like, Apocrypha and his, like, his beef with the Skrulls in Solstheim, where he literally just sticks his hentai tentacles through the Skrulls leader and just kills him because he doesn't have their knowledge. Like, it's interesting. I don't know. He just has a lot of character in him because he has like his issues with Miraak, because like Miraak's like his servant, but like trying to betray him, and then you have the Skrulls, who's like, wait, is it the Skrulls? What are they? Right? The Skrulls? The Skrulls? Yeah, the Skrulls. Yeah. Skrulls. And it's interesting, the dynamic between him and them, because it's like he's afraid of them because he doesn't know their deepest secrets. That's why he wants to know about them so much. He just has a lot of character to him. So I also love his giant library.
That was actually a really good point. Yeah.
Yeah. He shows up twice in Skyrim, doesn't he?
Yeah, with Septimus Cygnus in the Transmundane quest, which I remember that quest because you get the Augma Infinium, and you can do an XP glitch with that, where you can level yourself up infinitely with that.
Yeah, exactly. Shit, I remembered that. I was about to bring that up.
I did that when I was a kid to get to max level in smithing so I could craft Daedric armor. Yes, the Augma Infinium glitch, where you'd put it in a bookcase, select what you wanted, and then take it out of the bookcase and then put it back in.
Yeah, exactly. Holy shit, that just unlocked a shit ton of memories because I'm thinking about
awesome.
getting Daedric armor. That was so satisfying when you finally were able to make the Daedric armor and its whole
Oh my
story.
gosh, my dad used to say this to me. He's like, "Oh, if you keep doing those glitches on these games, it's not even fun. You're just defeating the point." And like as a kid, I'm like, "Yeah, okay, boomer." And it's like, I've got full Daedric armor, and you've been playing for 24 hours, and what do you have? Fucking steel armor? Like, what are you talking about? And it's,
Show for it, yeah.
and then like now I think about it when I do glitches like that or install mods that give me shit. I'm like, this is so fucking boring. Like,
Make an
No.
armor with the Avenici girl and
Yeah.
Whiterun.
yeah, it's like it just gets so boring. Like, there was one other glitch I wanted to bring up that was kind of similar. That was in Oblivion. That I remember very, very much because it took me it was very hard, if I remember correctly. I really liked the look of the Daedric armor in Oblivion, more so than I think in Skyrim. And there was a glitch where you could get full Daedric armor there was a spell you could get where it could cast you to have a full set of Daedric armor for a period of time, but then it would go away. But there was a glitch you could do where you could cast it and it would like instead of taking it away, you would keep the full set, so you would just get a full set of Daedric armor. And I was so happy when I got that. I played it for like an hour and then never played that save on that character again. And it took me like 2 hours to figure out how to do that.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, though, it depends on the glitch for me. It's like, I like going through, doing the whole thing, doing the thing, but sometimes the glitch has so many interesting aspects to it that you just can't help but kind of go that way. Especially if you're going through the game again and you want to do it fast.
Yeah, like, I know there's one on PC in Fallout 3 in New Vegas that works. It's like the quick save, quick load that a lot of people use for, like, speed running or, like, certain challenges that allows you to essentially, like, clip through walls that aren't accessible and can allow you to essentially skip through whole sections of the game. How people, beat, like, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Mitten Squad. I think Venom, we have, yeah. Can you beat Fallout New Vegas as a baby? Like, shit like that is fucking incredible to me, that you can...
What?
Yes, you can beat Fallout New Vegas as a child. Like, it's crazy.
No way.
Yes, like, quick save, quick load through walls and shit like that. It's so incredible the way that you can fuck up the games.
I just imagine like fighting the super mutant behemoth with as a baby with your rattle and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, there's a lot of good challenge YouTubers out there for that kind of stuff where it's like, oh, can I take no damage? Oh, can I go through here without killing a single person? Those are kind of my favorite because you know how games kill a lot of people, but going against it and seeing the game fight you, it's like, hey, please kill this guy. I find that fascinating.
I love and Bethesda games are just fucked up enough that you can get away with a lot of stuff in them that like you can't with a lot of normal games that aren't they don't have like a million glitches in them, right? Like Bethesda games, they have like literally so many glitches that you can get away with a lot of stuff.
With Fallout getting away with a lot of things, I think about morally too, because it's just like you can just load up a bunch of chems and then unload a minigun into a village.
Oh yeah, nothing like getting high on every drug in the game and just killing shit. Like, I love in Fallout 4, okay, I know people hate the fact that the protagonist in Fallout 4 talks, but I love when you take it's either Jet or Psycho and he just goes, fucking kill! Like, I love that so much. It's just so great. Like, that's some high energy right there. Like, just taking a bunch of drugs and, like, kicking children in the face,
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
I hope that is on record on this podcast.
That's alright, it's not that bad. It's in a video game anyways, it's not that big of a deal.
For sure.
Yeah, not in real life.
Yeah, definitely.
Unless there's something you want to tell us, Commie.
I mean, I'm definitely not, like, killing, like, a horrible, like, orphanage keeper. Like, I'm not definitely killing someone like Gretel the Kind. Or am I? I don't know.
Hey, I do that in every campaign, so she deserves it.
Oh, yeah, no. Fuck Gretel the Kind. She's definitely not the kind. She's definitely a whore.
Oh yeah. I love the other ladies in the orphanage. Her reaction to it, she's like, and she hates Gretel the Kind, but her reaction to it is beautiful. I love it.
It's so funny when you kill her and the kids just chant, "You killed Gretel the Kind!" Like they're so happy about it. It's just so funny.
I love it. It's the
like
best.
These kids
That's
they just witness murder and they're happy about it. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. They hate her that much.
Honestly, though, if you go throughout the orphanage and you see the change and the way they live, I'd be cheering for her death too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She reminds me of the chick from Matilda. You know
Oh my goodness!
What the hell
yes.
was her name? Miss
the
what?
fat lady.
Yeah, what was her name? Miss Oh my
I forget
fucking
her
lord!
name.
The chick with the chokey. What the fuck? Matilda, Miss. No, not Miss Honey. She's Miss Trunchbull.
Trunchbull, yeah.
Yeah,
God, I haven't
Miss
seen that movie
Miss
in
Honey
forever.
was the good lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, we're not talking about Matilda. This ain't a movie review. I'm not reviewing a movie with Danny DeVito in it.
That's for the podcast episode.
Yeah, we'll do that in episode 3 if that ever happens.
Never.
Fallout 76. I know we all kind of play it together, but I want to hear everyone's opinion. So let's talk about Fallout 76. How far it has come since it was released. Everyone knows about the horrible launch that was Fallout 76. And it's probably the most well-known horrible launches in gaming history. If it was a pretty big deal, everyone was talking about it. Even people who didn't play it.
Besides maybe like Cyberpunk, but yeah.
Yeah, Cyberpunk. Yeah, two of probably one of the worst launches of all time. And it didn't help that pre-orders for 76.
Oh god.
They were like not the right material and the helmet molding.
The helmet molding was shit from what I heard, and then the canvas bags, people pre-ordered that, and it wasn't even canvas, it was like some fucking gym bag that you used in middle school. Like,
yeah, it was deceptive. It was not good. They had a terrible launch. It's a very polarizing game to this day because of its launch.
Yeah, it's definitely a Battlefront 2 situation.
Which is understandable, but I don't think it deserves it anymore. I think it has come a long way.
For the most part, it's fun. It's not the best Fallout game, but like, it's fun to play. You got a lot of customization with the houses, and you can build your own settlements out in the middle of like a pretty landscape, and you can play with your friends. That's a great aspect.
Yeah,
it's you can play with friends, and also they've updated the fuck out of it. I sound like Bethesda's paying us right now.
Oh, I wish they were. I fucking wish I had Bethesda's money in my pocket.
Howard, yes.
Please. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, this is coming from someone who played it around launch. I didn't play it exactly at launch, and I didn't play the beta. And I know that a lot of people from the beta were really worried about the launch, and of course the launch was horrible, like a lot of people thought. I played a little bit after launch, so it came out in, I want to say it was like November-ish it came out, I think. I played it in December of that year. And it was pretty bad. Yeah, I was bored as a motherfucker playing that game. There was nothing to do. I just felt like I had no friends to play it with. There was just nothing going for it.
Yeah.
Kind of killed the aspect for me. And, I think the main thing that I was really interested about, because in every Fallout I play, I'm a big speech/charisma user. I know for a lot of people that's kind of like unheard of. No one likes speech or charisma for some fucking reason. And
I love them.
See, I love it too. It's like one of my favorite special skills to use because it allows you a new realm where you get new speech checks. You get new opportunities. You can talk yourself out of a fight. Talk yourself out of a fight. You can talk yourself to get more caps. Whatever. I was interested to see the way that charisma was getting used. And since that, I didn't have a lot of friends to play it with, it kind of killed that aspect because they turned it into a group mechanic where you have to play with friends for charisma to be useful. And at the time, there was no public teams, so it was useless.
Yeah.
And now that they have public teams, it's a useful skill, and it can provide like XP bonuses, healing bonuses, things like that. The game has become in such a long way where it's like it's almost unrecognizable, especially now that it has NPCs. And I just want to say this: I think that the game has the best like dialogue system since Fallout New Vegas. I would say it has. I would say it has a better speech mechanic than Fallout 4 and Fallout 3. I would say that honestly because I think
I agree.
It's the way that you can interact in conversations with speech checks when it comes to strength, intelligence, perception, all your skills, plus on top of reputation speech checks as well, which are a thing which I only think were also in New Vegas. You could use reputation speech checks. It's fucking incredible. Like, where was this system in Fallout 4? And
especially with that stupid emote wheel stuff.
Oh my gosh. I hate it.
It's just like one word like sarcastic, funny, dumb, so, like I hate when like it turned into a Telltale game, pretty much. Yeah,
it did, and I think I brought this up recently in a VC we were in. In Fallout 4, there's an interaction you can have when you go to the General Atomics place with the city that was run by robots pre-war as like a demonstration to people that it could be possible. And there's a diner you go into, and the robot asks you, "Well, do you want to be?" He's like. It's like, you think it's a normal diner, but the robot's malfunctioning. So he's like, do you want to be served diced, mashed, or like crispy or something like that? And he's like, it's like, okay, wait, what? You're going to kill me? And the speech wheel literally is all different answers, right?
Mm-hmm.
But 3 of them are the same answer. They're all just, what? And if there's a dialogue mod for Fallout 4 that lays out all the options that shows you what the full line of dialogue is going to be instead of it just being one word or whatever. And literally it shows you 3 of those answers are all just what ? It's like, what the fuck is that dialogue? What is the point of giving me 4 options if 3 of them are the same option?
Yeah, exactly. I don't get that at all. The emote wheel was such a step down for Fallout. I love Fallout 4. I think it's a great game. I think it has a lot of great things to it. But that is one of the biggest letdowns for such a great interaction system. That Fallout generally has one of the best interaction systems in the history of games.
I would agree, honestly. I think your character build really does play a part in your way that you communicate with people. Before I take up the whole space here with what I'm talking about, in New Vegas, there's an option where I want to say it's a Robco headquarters place. There's a robot on the 3rd floor that you have to get this key card to get access to. Once you get access to it, the robot asks you, what's the password? If you have a key card and you find the password, you can say, oh, the password is just ice cream, because that's what the password is. But if you have low intelligence, super low intelligence, your dumb character just yells, ice cream! And it turns out that is the password. And it's so great, because you can either go the smart route and find the password, or you can be a bumbling Grognak the Barbarian idiot and just say, oh, it's ice cream. It's like, it's so great. I love it. I love it.
Intelligent runs.
There's a lot of dialogue options in New Vegas specifically, where if you have an incredibly low intelligence, you can just get away with anything.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, you have to have a decent amount of speech to recruit Arcade Gannon from the Followers of Apocalypse 4, but if you're so dumb, he takes pity on you and accompanies you.
See, I didn't even know that. I didn't know that. And the Arcade is my go-to companion just because of the Enclave Remnants quest. And I didn't even know you could recruit him with low intelligence.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's like, honestly, Arcade Gannon and Raoul are some of my favorite followers ever.
Oh, Raul is a great, and voiced by Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo.
Oh, really?
Yes.
No way.
Oh yes, New Vegas has a great voice cast. Matthew
I
Perry's
didn't
in there.
even know that.
Yeah.
Wayne Newton, the great Wayne Newton.
Wayne Newton, Chris Christopherson is in there.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah,
Dang.
he plays the clip where if you remember correctly, someone is sending these false reports via the radio, and you later on figure out it's the head NCR guy at
the guy who heads the NCR Rangers.
Yeah, and he's the old guy, and if you confront him wrong, he kills himself.
Mm-hmm.
That's Chris Christopherson.
Holy crap, that's awesome.
That's a good quest, though, because you can. What I like about New Vegas, let's just turn this into a New Vegas topic, honestly.
I'm totally fine with that. I fucking love New Vegas.
New Vegas has a lot of things where you can fuck up so badly.
Oh, exactly.
Oh,
and that's
big time. Well, and that's how the original Fallouts were. Like, what we were talking about, like, with low intelligence builds and, like, you know, fucking up quests majorly. In 1 and 2, low intelligence could do the same thing, where it would get you to certain points that you could either get with high intelligence or, like, you couldn't get at all. But, excuse me. You could also what was I saying? You could also fuck up dialogue so bad. Like, if you could just say one dialogue option, it would lock you out of a quest completely forever and ever. Like, if you really had to be careful with the way you went. And it also made it so no matter which way you went, certain things were not available to you by how you played. New Vegas was like that because guess what? It was made by the same people who made Fallouts 1 and 2. It's like, man, I just wish some of those aspects would correlate to the new games. Like, man, I want low intelligence builds, and I want, like, not being able to do certain quests, but it's just, I love fucking New Vegas for that aspect.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
Seriously, New Vegas is my favorite Fallout game and one of my favorite games altogether.
It's because it's the truest to how Fallout was used to be. It's the truest to form, and in my opinion, like what we said earlier when we were talking off of recording, it is basically the direct sequel to 1 and 2. It is more of a Fallout 3 than Fallout 3, in my opinion. It is Van Buren because a lot of it is based off of Van Buren, like Joshua Graham, the Hanged Man or the Burned Man, whatever you want to call him. He was originally in Van Buren.
Is basically New Vegas, but New Vegas basically takes all of these ideas and repurposes them. Like you said with the Hanged Man, there's a lot of shit that if you read about what Van Buren had is very close to New Vegas, but they take a spin on it.
Yeah, except for, like, the main story, I think, is the most different part. The main story in Van Buren was pretty crazy. I don't know if you guys know about the main story of Van Buren, or know what that was. So I'll explain it really quickly in broad terms. So basically, your character starts off as a prisoner in this prison, and you don't know why they're locked up. But what happens is something, I don't remember exactly what causes, like, this massive prison break. You come to find out that your character was locked in there because it was a quarantine prison of people infected by this super deadly virus that was created by this former NCR doctor who's trying to cleanse the wasteland. And your character is sick, and they're going to die eventually. And every time they meet a new person or go into a new town, they're spreading this virus without your knowledge until you find out. And your goal is to stop this crazy doctor who's trying to cleanse the wasteland. Essentially kind of like in Fallout 3, how you have, like, John Henry Eden's trying to use the FEV to kill everyone that's a mutant, basically. Yeah. It's kind of the same thing, but he's trying to kill literally everyone. He's trying to create this pure wasteland. And your goal is just basically to stop him. What?
What are we talking about again?
That's the Van Buren main story.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about the main story of Van Buren, only the the
side stuff,
like
yeah.
That's like the stuff that carried over to New Vegas.
Yeah.
I never knew.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good story.
Yeah, it's
I love
pretty
that.
fascinating. If you ever go online, I know that there's a lot of information about. I think Van Buren is one of those games that was cut that we have the most information about. There is an extensive amount of information, especially information about the lore in the. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it, the Fallout Bible.
Yeah.
Which was
I have never heard of that, actually.
Which was written by Joshua Sawyer, which is a lot of information that was about the original intentions for the lore from Fallout 1, 2, and the never-released Van Buren from the original developers. And so if you ever want, it's on the internet, it's worth a read. I think it's really worth it. It details a lot of the vaults that didn't make it into the new games, and kind of shows how the lore kind of differed. Like, I believe Vault 106, I believe it is, the one that has the psychoactive drugs in the air in Fallout 3, right? Fallout 3 has it, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, that vault was it was originally intended in the original lore and was mentioned, and that was how they planned it. But then there's other vaults, like Vault 69 and 68, the ones that had like 1,000 women and 1 man, or 1,000 men and 1 woman, that are actually not canon. Surprisingly, a lot of people think those are canon. They are not canon. Those were in the original lore in the Fallout, and that are detailed in the Fallout Bible. So yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Check that out.
Yeah, it's on the. I don't know where it's at. I think there's a PDF of it somewhere on the internet. But it is worth a read.
That's one great aspect about Fallout is how dark it is. How Vault
It is very dark.
They're here to save you from the nuclear holocaust. But the thing is, they're as evil as the people dropping the bomb.
And even now, like there's the lore or the possible hint that they are responsible for the Great War. There's a lot of lore to back up that they may be the reason that the war happened. The Vault-Tec. There's a lot of lore and speculation that Vault-Tec actually caused the Great War. It's not. Of course, it's not 100% proven. It's not 100% written by the books, but that is a theory, at least.
That would make sense, honestly, to me. They want everybody to get in their vaults.
Well, yes, because they're also backed by the Enclave.
Yeah.
Wait, they are?
Yes, Vault-Tec had relations with the government, which a lot of them were a part of the Enclave. Because the Enclave, the Enclave draws a lot of inspiration from John F. Kennedy, the era of John F. Kennedy, where he talks about like shadow governments and shit like that. Where like it's this form of government where it's a bunch of people who are kind of like Hydra from like MCU, where it's like this group of people who are in the government posing to be someone, but they have their own private agenda and they're all working together. That's what the Enclave was, where it was like this group who was in the government formed of all these people, the president, wealthy business people and things like that. They had relations with Vault-Tec. Vault-Tec was originally employed by the U.S. government for Project Safe House to make the vaults, right? But the Enclave was also involved for the darker alternative, or the darker motive with the experiments. How can people react if there's a high diversity in their population, or if there's, a fuck ton of Garys in the vault for some reason, shit like that.
Yeah.
Oh, one of my favorites, the election one.
Oh, yes, that one is fucking amazing. I love that vault. What vault is that? I need to look that up.
Is that one in New Vegas or something where you sit down in the chair and the carrots come out and kill you, and then they figure out that it was just a test and nothing actually happened if you didn't
I love that.
kill them?
Vault 11. What? Just Still in the Dark. What game was this in? It
was either in 3 or New Vegas.
Yeah, I know, but I can't remember which one it was.
New Vegas is the game that has the Garys, right? Or is that
no? That's 3.
That's 3.
Vault 11 was in New Vegas.
Okay.
Wait. The Vault 11 survivor is a cut non-player character still present in the game files. Wait, what?
Okay, because if you remember, after they figure out that they've been doing something horribly
They kill
wrong,
each other.
And they shoot themselves, but if you remember correctly, you can hear one of them breathing at the end of the cassette. So,
Oh yeah, that's creepy.
Really?
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't even know that.
yeah. I was obsessed with New Vegas. That's why I wanted to talk about it, because the thing is New Vegas was my jam for a really long time.
Still is my jam, yeah.
I,
Great. Like a game that I have personally loved for a very long time. And I'm actually going through a playthrough of it right now, and I absolutely love it.
I'm glad. Honestly, I'm excited. I'm gonna get a PC. I'm gonna mod it a little bit so it can be fixed a bit, and then I'm gonna go through and kind of. I was inspired by Commie to kind of go through and just basically do everything I can, like make a list and just bleed the game dry. And I thought that was a fun idea because he was doing streams about that, and I was, inspiration, I guess.
It's a cool idea. I like doing that. Like it feels like a hard game to 100%. Especially like you would have to play it so many times to do so many different options. That would be almost impossible. But that's a good idea. Like basically going and doing every quest, finding every character to talk to, getting every little bit of information out of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Doing all of the DLCs. Making sure that every little quest you've done is complete. I really like that idea.
Yeah, it's gonna be a nightmare. I'm gonna be looking up a lot of shit on the Fallout wiki, but the thing is,
Yeah.
honestly, it's gonna be fun because I haven't played New Vegas fully in a really long time, and the fact that we've all been talking about it recently has been making me really want to play it. That and Oblivion.
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
Yeah.
Jack.
Well. Popsicle Splinter Husbandry.
Jack, we're in the middle of a podcast.
Oh, we are? Oh, shit. Soup.
Yeah, well,
That's part of your communistic game. I detect a little communism.
Alright, what were you guys talking about after that?
we were talking
talking.
about... What were we talking about?
We were talking about how we both. I talked about how I am replaying it and I'm loving it, and New Vegas. I mean.
Oh, New Vegas.
And Venom told me when he gets his PC, he's gonna play it and mod it and bleed the game dry, as you said.
I 100% recommend when you get a PC, you mod New Vegas. At least for like the basic things like the tick fix and like the patch and the script extender and things like that. Even those little basic mods make the game a lot better simply for performance aspects, because like the game, like it's not very stable even after the fact that they fixed a lot of it from its launch. Because honestly, before 76, I would say Fallout New Vegas had a worse launch. Like, that's a big reason why the Metacritic rating didn't hit the mark, so they got that bonus, is because the launch was fucking terrible for New Vegas. It was horrible. It was so buggy.
At least the PC version's better than the PS3 port.
I don't even know. The only reason the PC version is better is because you can mod it to fix everything. But even then, with the base PC version, it crashes a lot. It still crashes. It's like, yeah, you want to get those basic mods. Tick fix, I gotta check my mod order, but I honestly, when you start modding New Vegas, I can show you my mod order for a couple mods that I recommend. Not like super graphically intensive ones, but there's some good ones that just make the game a lot better.
Fix a lot of bugs and stuff.
One of the modding community, and NDAC is a good one. That's the crash fixer.
Yep, you have NVSC, you have TickFix, Johnny Guitar, which I know is one. There's a couple other ones that I can't think of right now.
Like the song?
Yeah, there's a mod named after the song Johnny Guitar.
Oh, okay.
It's like a bug performance fix.
Oh, cool. I love the bugs.
Interesting.
The unofficial patches are really good. Skyrim has unofficial patch, and
and Fallout 4 does as well.
Yeah, any Bethesda game has its own little like micro-culture community.
Yeah.
Keeps it alive. Like, there's still stuff being released for New Vegas as we speak.
Yeah, you gotta be careful, though, with the unofficial patches, though. I know if it's specifically for Fallout 4, I don't know about Skyrim. I need to get into Skyrim modding. Eventually I will. But,
It's worth it.
the unofficial patch for Fallout 4 conflicts with certain mods. So you have to be kind of careful which mods you install, because certain mods don't agree with the unofficial patch. They'll only work with the base version or like the DLCs. So you gotta be careful. I don't know about Skyrim though. I haven't modded Skyrim. I owned Skyrim for a little bit. Couldn't fix a certain issue. There was some, I don't know, the game just looked like shit on my PC for some reason. I have a really good PC. It looked like shit and I couldn't figure out why. And I just refunded it. I need to actually mod Skyrim. I really want to get into that. But that's another conversation.
Yeah. Honestly, we could go on about modding and doing all of this for hours, honestly. How long has this recording been going on?
It's just short of an hour.
Interesting.
Damn. Insane. That's pretty good. You could segment this into like several podcast episodes.
I could. I might just post it all at once. I don't know. We're gonna see.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about before I end it here?
No, I think we've said enough for now. Sully, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that, throughout every, I liked, being able to talk about Fallout and, Elder Scrolls, the ways they're all like kind of different. They're all like their different animal, pretty much. But I don't know, probably out of all of them, I would say New Vegas is my favorite. Like, out of all of the Bethesda-ish games, definitely New Vegas is probably my favorite.
Honestly, might have to do another podcast episode simply dedicated to just New Vegas.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, might have to. I think
would be fun.
I would definitely be down to do that. Who doesn't like New Vegas? Honestly, people who don't like New Vegas, shame on you. I used to be one of those people. So shame on my younger self.
Exactly.
New Vegas is a great game. Anyways, all right. So I'm gonna end it here.
Yeah.
This has been the Commie Killer podcast. I want to thank my, not co-hosts. Well, I don't know, maybe co-hosts. Now, they've got other things to worry about. We're gonna say our special guest here, Sullyhogs and the VenomJoowbear. I want to thank you guys for taking the time to talk to me about video games and just have a good time. So, thank you guys.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Glad to have you guys on anytime. Alright, so this is going to end this episode. I will see you guys in, hopefully, episode 3 in sometime soon. Other than that, thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.